I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All 6 of them.
Who are you?
The rabbit's loose!
Hunted by the police and the FBI.
New Orleans Police Department is actively seeking Lawson Russell in connection with the murders of 5 prominent attorneys.
This book is gonna go through the roof.
When a bestseller leads to a double cross, Lawson Russell must discover who framed him and why.
I mean, what's the sense of committing a perfect crime? No one knows about it.
Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr., Academy Award nominee Tom Berenger, Academy Award nominee and Golden Globe winner Marianne Jean-Baptiste, and Golden Globe nominee Eric Stoltz. The Murder of Crows.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is another paid request, this time for Gunnel. I apologize for the lateness of requests. I just got a lot to get to and get through. It's just with the week of Texas, no water, no power, and then the cleanup afterward, it just messed everything up, and there's going to be a delay for a while, so I apologize. But those who want to request or donate to the channel, either way, PayPal and Patreon links are down below in the info box. If not, no worries. But this is for A Murder of Crows from 1998, and it's directed by Rowdy Herrington. Now, Rowdy Herrington, if the name sounds familiar, he directed Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. He directed a very underrated film with James Spader called Jack's Back. And before this, he had done Striking Distance with Bruce Willis, which I don't mind as an action film. More of a thriller with some action elements. But that film didn't do well, and so for quite a few years, Mr. Herrington didn't find another job until this, and this, I think, went straight to video. I don't know if this got a theatrical release. It stars Cuba Gooding Jr., who's an actor I don't mind. I do think, in a way, it's funny, he got the Oscar for Jerry Maguire. I don't think he deserved it. And I don't even think he did a bad job. I just think of all the other actors and actresses throughout multiple forms of media. Well, it would be movies if it was Oscars. I'm like, that's an Oscar-worthy performance? Because he says, show me the money? He did a good job, I just don't think it was Oscar-worthy. And then after that, he would pick roles like Boat Trip. He did The Fighting Temptations. He did Daddy Day Camp, the direct-to-video sequel to Daddy Daycare with Eddie Murphy. I did not mind Chill Factor, though. And this one, this wasn't a bad movie. Wasn't a bad film. It's a little bit of a legal thriller, a little bit of a chase movie. I would say what makes it work is Cuba Gooding Jr. I don't mind. I don't mind in the lead role. Tom Berenger, I liked as an actor. I wish they did more with his character, honestly. But there's a part of me that wonders if it would work better if Tom Berenger was in the lead role. Because Cuba Gooding Jr. did fine, but Tom Berenger, this feels like something that would fit him a bit more compared to Cuba. Also, Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser 1, 2. Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 2. She makes an appearance in this. It's not a big role, but it was nice to see her. Oh, cool, you know, it's been a while. Nice to see her in a different role, because I only think of her from the first couple of Hellraiser movies. Eric Stoltz, who was going to be the original Marty McFly in Back to the Future, and then he was in The Fly 2, he was in Anaconda. He has a bit role in this as well. And I would say the story's not too bad. It's an interesting setup, I'll say that. It's a movie I could see why it went straight to video, not because it has cheap production values. I mean, it looks fine. There's just nothing that grand or big that to me deserves to be. If it was theatrical, then I just no one saw it. If it didn't go theatrical, I can understand why, is what I'm saying. Because there's nothing really big or grand. There's no big action set pieces. There's a little bit of chasing, but you know, stuff you would see on any TV shows at the time. I think it's more of this little thriller where Cuba Gooding Jr. is a lawyer. He is on this case where he's got to defend Eric Stoltz. But he really comes to find out Eric Stoltz is a real piece of shit. He has a moral dilemma on his hands, and he decides to throw the case. And Rowdy Herrington, he throws a little decent bit of oddball, I guess you call it twist moments. I do think he did a better job in Jack's Back. Like, Jack's Back, that was a movie that was a thriller with twists and turns. I just thought that one had more impact, and that one had more drive, and that one felt better made altogether. Plus, James Spader knocked it out of the park. So I guess I just say that because the director did that, and if I'm comparing two as thrillers, James Spader's performance, his role, and the whole thing of Jack's Back just felt like a more... It felt like a movie that pulled me in more than this. But with all that said, it's not a bad movie. Like I said, he's at a Halloween party. He's on the phone, and then some guy with like a demon Mephisto Faust type of mask comes in. Literally, he's ready to kill him, but then he overhears a phone call and he leaves. And you found out later what that pertains to. And it's Cuba Gooding Jr. saying to the judge, "Hey, I need to drop this case." Judge tells him, "No, that's bullshit." He goes through the case. He fucks it up on purpose. He gets kicked out of being a lawyer forever. And so he decides to go to Florida, where his dad has like a little estate, little trust fund, that type of thing. Not really estate, but a trust fund. And Cuba Gooding Jr. is there for a while, and he's going to be a writer. But he's got writer's block. And some decent stuff. I like the lady who is his friend. I forget the actress's name. She becomes one of his only allies throughout it, where she tells him, "Listen, your life's not over. Maybe they took your license, but they didn't take your balls." Yeah, I liked her attitude. I liked... she felt natural. At times, the movie has this narration. I don't think you needed it. Because a little bit of a sleepy narration from Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character. I don't know if that was added after the fact, or it was supposed to have that in place, but it wasn't needed. Again, it just comes off as sleepy. So that's why I wonder, like, maybe Tom Berenger, if you had to have a role with a narration, maybe with that type of more booming voice that Tom Berenger has, maybe that would work better. I don't know. Or just don't have the narration at all. Idea you're trying to be a little bit of the old school mysteries back in the day. Yes, it wasn't really needed, in my opinion. So while he's there, he takes this old man a tour on a boat. And this old man says, oh, you want to be a novelist? Well, I have a book. And shows him the book. Soon after the old man dies, Cuba Gooding Jr. looks at the book, likes what he's reading, what it could mean for him, his career. So he changes the name of the author. Since the old man passed away and no one knows who he is, he makes the book his own and sells it and becomes rich and famous. The only problem is that book gets in the hands of a detective played by Tom Berenger, and you come to find out that the stuff in the book is real. That really, the whole story about these 5 lawyers being murdered, all the details, everything is on point. So of course they think, including Tom Berenger, that Cuba Gooding Jr. did it, and Cuba finds out that he's been framed. And then the rest of the film is him trying to clear his name. Like I said, the setup, not a bad setup. You know, I like the idea. A Murder of Crows, that comes into play because that's the name of the book. And when he's not doing the narration stuff, Cuba Gooding Jr. does fine. It's not... As a guy that I normally saw more silly stuff in his other roles, I think he could be a pretty decent serious actor. Not the best actor, but a decent serious actor. And like Ashley Lawrence, she plays Cuba's book publisher. She's not in the film too much. There's a point that she gets almost naked, but just her bra and panties. But it's still pretty sexy. Well, there's a little bit of sex scene, so I take that back. It's that, show us the titties and bush, but still nice to see Ashley Lawrence in that way as well. Tom Berenger, I wish he had more screen time. The little bit I saw him seemed interesting, like he's going to move to Jamaica with his cat. And some of the lines where someone goes, do you sleep? Of course I can sleep. I can do any fucking thing I want. But then he only pops up every once in a while. It's more Cuba's movie. Where he finds out where the book came from, who this old man really was. And the big twist I could see coming. And maybe that kind of hurt the momentum of it for me. Do I spoil it? I'll say this. If you like the actors, if you like the director, if you don't mind thrillers, it's nothing great, big, or grand. Brand. What the fuck am I talking about? Brand. No, it's not a movie you want to get branded. It's not a movie that's so bad you want to feel like you get brand. I don't remember any brands, selling their fucking McDonald's coupons or the Burger King treats, to promote this thing. But it's nothing grand. There's no shootouts. There's no fisticuffs. No explosions. Because some thrillers do feature that, like Striking Distance. It's nothing like that. Again, the cinematography is fine, but it's again. If someone told me this was a TV movie, I would buy it. I add in the spoilers though. Okay, spoilers. You come to find out that the old man was playing multiple people. The old guy, it was someone in makeup. He was also this cop that Cuba talked to when the cop told him that the old man died, but it's the same person. He was also this guy who wanted the book signed when Cuba was promoting the book and someone came up, can you sign my book? In a different costume. He was the guy at the very beginning that was ready to murder him with the weird Faust, like Halloween costume. He is a guy whose family, I think his wife and kid died. The killer walked, and so he hates lawyers. So he just goes after lawyers that let killers or let bad people go, and he murders them. And he was going to murder Cuba Gooding Jr., but when Cuba changed his mind, he backed off. But then I just later on followed him and went through this big ploy to frame him. Or I guess really to give him a choice. Because Cuba didn't have to do it. I think he even says, I gave you a choice. If you were truly innocent, you would not have taken the book, but you're not, and you took the book. Granted, I don't know if that's enough to kill him over, but... And the reason I said, I guess kind of what it was pertaining to, because when I saw the old man, I thought, that's really bad makeup. Like, there's something off about him. It doesn't seem like an old guy. It seems like a guy in makeup. And then your mind goes, well, why is there a guy in old man makeup? Why don't you just... There are old people. Old people do exist. There are old people out there. You could just hire an old person. This guy seems like a young guy with makeup. He's trying to make his voice like he's so old. I'm like, there's something off about him. And then when I saw the cop, and then this guy with a big fake-looking mustache, I recognized the guy. He's the guy, if you remember the Big Lebowski, he's one of the guys that beats up the dude. Where, in the beginning of the film, I think he's one of the guys dunking Jeff Bridges. Where's the fucking money, shithead? He's one of those guys. What the fuck is this? And the dude goes, I guess you're not a golfer. And it's a fucking bowling ball. Maybe because I've seen The Big Lebowski so many times, because it's one of my favorite comedies. I fucking love The Big Lebowski. But I recognize that guy. And I've seen him in other stuff, too. Usually he plays a bad guy. I forget the actor's name, but I know I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, I know who that guy is. And wait, that guy looks like that guy. Wait a minute, that guy had makeup on. So... kind of knew something was up, because if you question the old man, then you question, you know. So I guess I wasn't as surprised as, and I guess in a way you could call it kind of an outlandish plot. But I mean, the setup is interesting. Cuba Gooding Jr., Tom Berenger, I wish he had more screen time. The ending, I don't know. Extra spoilers. What happens is, he finds out who it is. He gets to the guy's place. The killer, he has a gun on Cuba. Tom Berenger followed. Has his gun on the bad guy. Bad guy pulls out his second gun, shoots Tom Berenger in the chest, then shoots him in the head. I thought, wow, that's a waste of Tom Berenger. Cuba and the guy wrestle with the gun. Cuba gets the gun. I liked his line, I am not innocent. No, because the guy's saying some stuff, and Cuba goes, you're right. Wait a minute, you're right. I'm not innocent. But you are guilty, and shoots the guy. Meaning, with the way things are, with the lack of evidence, this guy's going to get off. Well, not that kind of off, but he's going to get out of jail fine, and nothing's going to happen to him. So Cuba's like, fuck this. Judge, jury, and executioner, motherfucker. And so Cuba Gooding Jr. gets in jail, but then his friend, that I talked about before, that I said I liked her attitude, she helps him get this big high-tech lawyer, and he's able to afford it because the book went through the roof, and he's a millionaire, and so he was pretty much able to buy his way out of the system. So kind of the thing he was complaining about at the beginning, he used it to his advantage at the end. So that's what I mean, like, the cinematography, the look of it is fine. The story is somewhat interesting. I liked some of the actors. I think Eric Stoltz, he appears a couple times, so did Ashley Lawrence. I thought Eric Stoltz was someone going to come in the third act. That never happens. Like, maybe he's working with this as part of the frame-up. No. I didn't. Tom Berenger, it just... okay to mediocre. Mediocre is probably the right word for it. It's, to me, a mediocre movie. Like I don't really do ratings. But okay, if I did like a 5-star, I don't know, it'd be like 2.5 out of 5. They just, meh. You do a lot better, you do a lot worse. It's just, again, it's not the most exciting movie. I found it rather predictable. Maybe others will not. Again, some actors I wish were utilized more, like Eric Stoltz. Maybe he has a part in the third act. Or then Tom Berenger, maybe a few more scenes with him. Or maybe there's a point where Tom Berenger and Cuba Gooding Jr. really have to work together, and it's the two of them. And I'm not saying it has to be 48 hours, but, you know, little bit of this and that. I don't know, just... It's not my favorite Rowdy Herrington film. I would easily put Jack's Back above this. I would easily put Striking Distance or Roadhouse above this. I'm sure he's done others. I can't think of them. But of the four I mentioned, this is definitely the least effective Herrington flick. So, time waster at best. I would never see it again. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.